Vishal, you're a fantastic place to start in the sense that, on the one hand, your business is called Madison World. And on the other hand, famously, Madison World is exclusively focused on India. Why are you just focused on India and not the world?
Well, the term world is because of the kind of areas and specialties and expertise that we've built into other marketing areas. We've been an independent agency, largely local, and we believe that's an advantage for the kind of nuances that we sort of understand the market much better. So I think it's an advantage, and we'd love to call it world, but we're local for vocal.
But Vishal, it sort of makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, we were talking before, and you have a lot of people that will purport to have deep knowledge of a place they've only been a couple of times, right? So I totally understand what you're getting at, but India is vast. How do you even begin to be local in a country this big?
Look, I think there's a lot more in India, and like I keep saying, there's an India within India. You're talking about a massive market with 1.4 billion population, somewhere around 23 states, 28 languages. Look, that's even much sort of better than, I'll put it in a perspective, a population of Delhi is bigger than New Zealand. How does that sound? Right, big. So that's big, right? Having said that, look, I think when you talk about India as a market, I mean, that's massive growth, and there is a huge scope of expansion in India itself. So
well, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this, Vishal. So Madison is client-focused, right? So you're in the business of enabling your clients to expand. What is it about you that innately makes you able to do that as an agency?
So I think it's more important for any marketer, any media person to really understand the market in a better way before really being an advocate to the clients of really expanding the business right now. I think to my mind, the better you know your own markets, the better you can come with a solve.
And how do you go about that? I mean, there are some guests that we have on Trailblazers, Vishal, that swear by insights and data. There are others that say there's nothing like being in the markets, in the bazaar, you know, cheek by jowl. Where are you at with that?
I'm a firm believer of data, and to my mind, it's the consumer insight, it's the data that really makes you look better when you want to launch your brands or whenever you want to expand your brands. Just to give you a bit of an insight, look, I think insight to my mind is very important. One of my brand, which is into hair serum, which identified, and some of the research that we did, we figured out that K-pop, the Korean pop, is very big with a certain TG in Northeast. I mean, that was a great insight for us to build a great market share in that particular market.
And how, in practical terms, Vishal, did you figure that out? How did you make that connection between Assam and Korea or Nagaland and Korea?
Look, you got to really do a lot of market visits to understand the consumers and do a lot of research. But that's more important to understand the local nuances of that particular market that you actually want to get into and expand it.
Okay. And since we're on K-pop, just because it's such a phenomenon, it's gone from sort of not very much. I mean, had you heard of K-pop 5 years ago?
Not really.
Well, you might. I certainly hadn't. But what is it in terms of K-pop's market expansion that makes them able to, you know, be down with the kids in Assam?
Well, that's the influence that those kids probably would have got from the lookalikes that they may feel over there, but that's become like a craze. And my sense is it's an influence. It's a large influence on them.
But if you look into it, I was talking to my children about this the other day, and one of their theories was K-pop works so well in terms of both genders because it's sort of androgynous in a way, and it's very unthreatening. You can overlay it anywhere. And its expansion is perversely based on the fact that it's not threatening at all. Do you buy that?
Absolutely. I must cite this example. I have a daughter, 16 years old, and I asked her the same question that you're asking me right now. And where she said, look, I like these boys and they're great, where they have a green color hair or a purple color hair, but I love them. And well, she knows all the songs. And it's of course been populated. There's a lot more word of mouth, and it's a crazy sort of stuff that kids have got into right now. But that's unbelievable.
Well, and I guess as a father, you'd rather the K-pop walla turned up than some great big hulk of a man, you know. If someone's going to turn up on the doorstep asking for your daughter out, you'd rather it was that guy. Okay, let's get a wrap on K-pop. I want to get back into, you know, the innate idea of your business. Take us back to when Madison started, because like all brands that expand, it starts in a single place, right, geographically. Yep. Why didn't you just stick to that? Why have you gone broader? Is it a client thing? Clients are asking you? How do you define the market as such, because it's so big?
Look, I think we're a 35-year-old agency, still standing strong, tall. And the firm belief is that there's a lot more you can do in India. That market itself is so huge, and there's tremendous potential. You don't really need to go out of the boundaries of India to create the fame or money, right? There's a lot you can do here. I mean, we're talking about a massive size. I just gave an anecdote of a Delhi versus some other country, but there's so many things that you can talk about. There's hinterland, which is growing in a massive manner. Today, when you look at India as a market per se, I think we're one of the best economies. We're hitting a great economy, a GDP of about 6.7. Looks like it could be even getting better next year. We've got, and the beauty is we've got a demographic, which is a very younger demographic, unlike a Europe or a China, which has got an older demographic, right? If I had to just break India into two parts, say India A or India B, A looks like 38 named cities, 10 lakh plus population, and a B looks like 6 lakh villages, right? There is a massive rural.
Yeah.
And well, thanks to the mobile and the 5G, 4Gs and 3G connections, it has broken the divide, right? The digital divide. There's a lot more empowerment, women empowerment in rurals over the urbans. There's a lot of literacy level which is going up. I think there's so much in India to do.
Okay, but if you're talking, we often on this show ask experienced marketeers like yourself, Vishal, to talk to the young out there, right? So if you're a well-educated tier 1 city metro dude working for Madison, how do they understand people in the villages, that TG?
Look, there's a lot of, like I said earlier, there's a lot of research that we do, and there's a lot of ready-made stuff. I mean, you just buy out certain researchers or buy out certain media products, right?
But do you encourage them to go there?
Not really. I mean,
to feel it?
Not really. It's actually how the consumption's going, right? Whether it's consuming a content or consuming products or whatever. I think it's largely a growth story, but there is a strength which is sort of pushing it. So it's all moving in that direction.
Okay, and let's go back to your clients, because that's the motherlode of
Right.
Madison, clearly, Vishal. Is there something, when you think about identity, where you're finding that your Indian clients are innately very interested in having an Indian agency?
Of course that happens. Yeah, so a lot of our clients are Indian clients. It's not that we don't have MNC clients, but I think for the kind of work that we've done, we probably have more Indian clients, I would say.
And what do you do? What do you do? Here's an interesting question. So inevitably a client will come to you, Vishal, and say, we're setting up in Japan or Hong Kong or Nairobi. What do you say then? And we want you to help us.
Shall we put them onto our partners if we have any good friends based out of the other countries, or if that's something that, if it's just on a digital medium and manageable, we probably give it a shot. But ideally, and to be very honest, I'd probably say it's best you look at others.
Well, and that's very interesting, isn't it? Because we've all been in front of agencies who we say we're going to Japan, and then they use that as an opportunity to set up in Japan, a place they may never have been. So you're holding the line.
Absolutely. Like I said, the more we learn out of the market that we're into, the more we just, growing. And there's a lot more to come away.
Yeah, it has a multiplier effect,
Absolutely,
right? And
absolutely.
as you say, there's Team A, there's Team B, there's Team C and Team D. I'm going to finish off, Vishal, on a particular question, which is, it's a sort of philosophical question. Yeah, India's been a trading nation for thousands of years. There was only really a little lull after independence, right? But when you think about Indians, of which there are a million different types of Indians, do you think they're good at international expansion and going international? Just talking about the international side of it.
On the brand side of it.
Brand side, personality side, and we have these huge diasporas around the world. Is there something about the Indian generically that makes them good travellers?
Well, I think it's the Indians who are feeding up the tourism industry, if you ask me. I mean, more from a travel perspective. But is there a likeliness to move, go global? The answer is yes, right? Look, the tier ones, the rich are getting richer, like I said, and I'm sure that's something that people would love to move around the world. I mean, is that the question that you're aiming to?
No, I mean,
or have I got it wrong?
It's just a question of whatever data set you look at. If you take NRIs as a community, they're winners all around the world in every sector. 25% of NASA, 50% of the established headcount globally of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, the list goes on. I'm just intrigued by the idea that when you think about expansion in terms of the international side of it, and I appreciate you're not in that game, are Indians sort of better travellers, better understanding the new domains?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, given a chance, people would love to go to abroad, many of the global markets. But I think that maybe in the coming years, probably the trend will change, and the same NRIs may want to come back to India.
Well, that's right. There's a bounce back theory. Well, when that starts to happen, Vishal, we'll get you back on the show. You've been a fantastic guest. Thank you so much for your time and insights.
Thanks, Jasper.